So, we have a primary, and I just voted. We took it. Actually, we voted more than just by mail. They have a box at our city hall, and it was good enough weather. My husband was able to take them up there, and they gave us a vote by mail sticker. So, not everybody can get out, so there's still an option to vote by mail. Ours is for Tuesday, which I believe is the 9th or 10th. I can't think now. I'm in March. I know. We're just going to be changing time. But, everybody's all been out of shape because there's no women in the primary. And we're a really weird country. For some reason, even though half of us are female, we still vote for men. It's been going on for over 200 years. Somehow it hasn't gotten through. So if you're really not going to vote because there's no women in office, it's kind of a bad idea for a multiplicity of reasons. We have a real damaging political control right now, and people are dying from it. People are starving. People are homeless. Medical care, they can't get their meds and whatever. So if you're not happy with who's running, maybe more important is, are you happy who's in office? If you're happy who's in office, I don't understand why. I don't understand why anybody would want someone with the behavior and the destruction that's come to our country, but that's your right to vote that way. I don't have any understanding of why some of the people are voting for him. I do know that frustration with the government is one thing. The problem is the people that are frustrated, many of them aren't voting. So it's the third party that's always winning. It's the ones that stay home. So, look, I know that everybody is older, but if you look at it, they're all the same age, because even the thing in the White House is the same age as the two gentlemen that are running for the Democratic Party. Are they the perfect choice? I don't believe there's a perfect choice. Was Elizabeth Warren a good choice? Yeah, she was she was a real honest, powerful woman, which apparently a lot of men in this country were terrified by, even though there's a lot of women in this country that have the power to make rational decisions, and they think women are too emotional. But if you start looking at what some of these men do, look, come on. Rand Paul he voted against the Senate, where everybody else was voting for help on the coronavirus and for medical help. I'm sorry, the man is supposed to have been a doctor, and yet he approved for all the tax rises. There is no sensibility, it seems like. There seems to be a complete lack of common sense. There seems to be a complete lack of humanity. I don't even know if those words have ever stepped into the Senate. I know they're trying in the House, but even there, some of these people are, I don't know where the thinking process came from. Now, we're supposed to be the United States of America. We have never been the United States of America. We have always had very regional, specific beliefs. We've always had a unconscious, maybe, separation of the states and the regions. My husband and I have traveled over the years, and it is very, very apparent there's still a Mason-Dixon separation. You go down and we're Northerners. I admit that. I'm from Michigan. My family came from Massachusetts, and I was raised to be a free thinker, which means I do not fit with many, many people that I know because they are either Democrat or they're Republican. And I know very few independents. And one of the issues is walking in somebody else's shoes. And my great grandfather used to say people tend to bite their nose off to spite themselves, to stay right all the time because they don't feel that it's their responsibility to try to help make a solution. And he said it is our responsibility as humans, as citizens, and everything. So my goal is I can live long enough to vote for the November election. And my hope is that we vote in people with integrity, intelligence, compassion, humanity, and you know, people that see that we're all in this country, that it's not just the rich. And I'm hoping that the people that are anti-immigration realize that as a genealogist that I've done for well over 60 years now, or 60 some years now, every single one of us, if we're white, are immigrants. I mean, I have a husband whose heritage is Native, and he's Odawa. And the joke that he used to say, my mom and I would say, "Oh yeah, we came over on the Mayflower," which I've documented, and my husband would say, "Yeah, and our people met the boat." And that is the reality. We are treating the Native Americans with such horrific ethnic cleansing attempts, and yet we were the aggressors, the Europeans, the whites. One of the things I've learned as a historian is don't be too proud of what you did, because some of your ancestors helped wipe out, and I mean wipe out, Native American tribes. They helped totally wipe out indigenous people, Eskimos, the Aleutians, and we helped wipe out many black families. We've helped wipe out people of Hispanic. We've helped wipe out Asian. We've helped wipe out even the Irish and the Italian and anybody who wasn't pure white. I got news for you people. There isn't a pure white person in the world. Everybody has been, as a result of DNA, migrating. So when you're voting if you're voting on something and you think because you're a white you should be in control, no, your blood is just the same color as everybody else's blood. So it's vote like you're a human. Don't vote because you're white or you're south or you're north or you're east or you're west. Don't vote because you're a Republican or a Democrat or an independent. Don't vote because you think you should have guns or you should control women's sexuality, or if you think children shouldn't have education or school lunches. Don't vote on prejudices that you've been raised with. Vote with your mind. Actually think. Just think. If you had your DNA end up somewhere else, say you were a white European raised in Massachusetts, or supposed to be in Massachusetts, but instead you ended up in a Native American family in New Mexico. How would you vote? Would you vote the same way? Can you step into that kind of thought process, and can you vote that way? how about if you were supposedly going to be, your DNA was going to end up in the Florida Everglades, and you were from the indigenous tribes that were there, but instead you ended up in Montana, and you ended up as a settler there who was actually taking property and land from the indigenous Native Americans. How would you vote? Would you vote that because you thought you were supposed to be raised in the indigenous tribe, or would you vote as the white man that you ended up, your DNA ended up there? You know, we don't really ever put ourselves in other people's shoes. And this selfishness that we encourage and kind of promote really makes us so much less of a compassionate animal than the so-called animals of our world. We do step down below the altruistic behavior of many animals. We humans are not nearly as altruistic. We are not nearly as humanitarian as we would like to be. So people, please go vote. Please take this opportunity to use your civil right that you have right now, which is disappearing rapidly, and please go vote. Please take the time to step into somebody else's moccasins, shoes, flip-flops, boots, whatever you want to call them, and see what they would be considering as an improvement for their lives, as a safety for their lives. Just keeping a roof over their heads. Or think about what it'd be like if you were a child that went to bed hungry, or school hungry, or what about a senior citizen who goes to bed hungry, or can't take their medication, so they know that their days are being accelerated as to how soon they're going to die. How about the young couple who are living in a van because their wages are such that they can't even afford to rent an apartment? How about the teenager who's trying to get a job for the first time? There's so many scenarios out there that we need to think about instead of just, the violence, the viciousness that's out there. I mean, and it's both parties that are up there. Some of the candidates have some unfortunately vicious so-called followers. It seems to be becoming worse instead of better. And there's a huge amount of issue over ageism, and we do need to try to get ourselves back on track where we're respected with other countries, and we are getting services that our tax dollars are paying for. We also need to realize that those of us, which, by the way, I'm officially considered a boomer, so that's bad news, but, there's still seniors above us. There's still the Korean War and World War II veterans. And there's younger people, there's younger generations, more than one. I think we just need to listen to everybody and work out a solution instead of biting our noses off to spite ourselves. All right, everybody, vote well. I can't tell you to vote often because that would be illegal. But vote. Thank you.